We'll get to Nick Wright in a second. He's the host of What's Right with Nick Wright and FS1's First Things First. He is the hottest thing in sports gasbagging these days. Mike, did you object to anything that I did or the show did yesterday when you were off? Because I suspect that you probably didn't like anything I had to say about the Chiefs.
3 things I took issue with. Tom Brady conversation. I think there's more meat on that bone. We can revisit that later. The phrase Rex Grossman dragged the Bears to the Super Bowl was uttered yesterday, and Dan went unchecked when it was quite literally the other way around.
Totally fair.
And Dan's obsession with calling Patrick Mahomes a dink and dunk quarterback, even invoking Baker Mayfield. When you look at yards per attempt, Patrick Mahomes has a better yards per attempt than Baker Mayfield. If there is one person in the NFL that I am sure of that wants to go deep ball hunting, it's Patrick Mahomes. And I think he will do that until we put dirt on his grave. He doesn't have 2 important receivers. That loss is entirely on Travis Kelce. And another thing, stop looking at yards per attempt, especially 2 weeks into the season. You know who is last place by a wide margin in the league in yards per attempt at 4.7? Cam Ward. What do you know about Cam Ward that suggests he is all of a sudden Alex Smith?
Wow. I'm looking at since Tyreek Hill left, Patrick Mahomes, I think, is 39-12 and average yard per attempt. The only one lower in the entire league over that stretch is Daniel Jones.
Hold on. Can I jump? Am I invited in?
And Daniel Jones, by the way, first in yards per attempt right now in the league.
Welcome, Nick. And also, I am not going to allow what has happened to political discourse happen to sports discourse.
At Fox, where you were? You're surrounded where you were.
Hey, my turn. Where we pretend things that we watched happen didn't happen. Dan, what happened the first year after Tyreek Hill left? Do you know? Yeah. Or you're too soaked in tequila? Patrick Mahomes won league MVP, Super Bowl MVP. The Chiefs scored the most points in the league. The Chiefs had the most yards in the league. And if you look up on Football Reference, hey, what's the single season where a quarterback accounted for the most total yards? It's Patrick Mahomes' first year after Tyreek Hill. So I am not going to sit here on his 30th birthday, no less, and allow you to try to peddle this false narrative that since Tyreek left, the Chiefs' offense hasn't been the same. The first year after Tyreek, with Juju Smith-Schuster, who wasn't good enough to be on the Patriots, and Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who's got cut from multiple teams, and McCole Hardman, that team scored more points than anybody. Right now, they're stuck in the mud a bit after the disastrous season of last year where all they did was reach their third straight Super Bowl, becoming the third team ever to do that. But we're not going to recreate history. Hi, thanks for having me on, and thanks to Hampton Farms for sending me all these sweet nuts.
What happened to political discourse?
I appreciate that. What'd you say?
He said, what happened to political discourse?
Well, what happened to political discourse is we stopped arguing about what we should do about things, and we started arguing about what actually happened in the past, and it ruined everything. Like, we used to agree that what had occurred, what the facts on the ground were, and then we disagreed about solutions or about root causes. But now, every political discussion, you can't even get to the topic because we spend time arguing. It would be as if every Jordan-LeBron debate, somebody came out and they were like, well, how could Jordan be better? He only won 4 championships. And then someone's like, no, he won 6. They're like, actually, you're wrong, fake news. And then we're just arguing about what happened. Like that. So sports, luckily, has avoided that. But I saw the slippery slope, Dan, you're trying to walk down with this, Patrick Mahomes post Tyreek Hill. How good is he? Patrick Mahomes post Tyreek Hill won an MVP. Well, I already explained it.
I'm going to give the same stat I gave yesterday.
Sweet Christ.
Since 2023, games with 320-plus passing yards. Patrick Mahomes has 3. Jake Browning has 3.
Well, listen, that takes me aback a bit because I know, and I'm sure the shipping container does as well, that when we fell in love with sports and when we got into sports media, there were, some hallowed statistical markers. be it Hank Aaron's home run record before Bonds broke it, be it batting 400, and 320-yard passing games is just always been how I've weighed quarterbacks.
All right,
it's not at all an arbitrary marking to fit your exact narrative.
Fine. Let me do it another way then. The first 2 weeks of the season, because you're talking about what Mahomes was after Hill left, and you're right, that one season. But that Chiefs offense that was always going to score 30 is dead. And 2018 to 2022, his passing stats, Nick, in the first 2 weeks of the season, 35 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's been different.
The last 2 years, 9 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's become a dink and dunk quarterback. There are reasons for that. I don't think it's his fault. I think it's a lot of offensive pieces he's missing. But you can't deny that that's not the same offense. You can't deny that.
I didn't deny that at all. I never denied that. What Patrick Mahomes, what you're saying he's become is what he's always been, which is I will be the perfect quarterback for the exact team I have. And when I walk into the league and we have the league's worst defense and we have the fastest and best receiver in the league, I will fire it downfield. And last year, 2 years ago, when we have maybe the league's best defense, all I need to do is not screw it up. And last year, when they had an okay but not great defense, and they had the most injured receiving core and running back room and left tackle spot in football, I will do whatever it takes to make sure we are within reaching distance in the fourth quarter, when then I will go Superman mode. He is a chameleon to winning. Now, 2 weeks into the year, the Chiefs have not been good enough. The offense hasn't been good enough. Pat hasn't been good enough. The fact that right now he's on pace for 1,000 yards rushing, which is horrifying. He is having to activate the Patrick Mahomes hero mode, scramble mode, that he saves for the playoffs early. I'm not sitting here arguing that the Chiefs through 2 weeks look like a juggernaut, far from it. And I'm not sitting here arguing that there are not fair concerns 2 weeks in for the Chiefs. And if someone wants to argue the concerns are deeper than get Rice and Xavier Worthy back, that's totally fair. What I will not abide is the revisionist history on who Patrick is and who he isn't. And that's not just because I was an invited guest of his at his new steakhouse in Kansas City Friday night, 1587 Prime. Everyone should check it out. It's really outstanding.
You don't have to abide those things. You can simply concede that the Chiefs over the last 4 years have gone from being an elite offensive team to an elite defensive team. And
But it's just not. Hold on. Last year, they were not an elite defense. Last year, call Mina Kimes and have her tell you about DVOA or EPA or any of those fancy stats that you can't sort on ESPN, and you'll see they were roughly the 10th best defense. And last year, how did they go 17-2 in games Patrick played if we throw out the meaningless Week 18 game? It was because he made every play when it mattered late. And I know the new age sports math is clutch doesn't exist. Actually, when you think about it, Lamar's career and Patrick's career are very similar. But in our bones, we know that's not true. And so it's just not accurate that last year they were carried by the defense. Not when he was the best fourth quarter, the best third down, and the best fourth down quarterback in the league. This year, the defense has been far better than the offense. Now, 2 games is 2 games, and there are things that go into it, but there's no defending what they've been this season. There's what is so irritating and what is so frustrating is we have done this now for 4 years, where there is, and I'll try to be quick because I know we don't have as much time as we normally do. They get blasted in the Super Bowl by the Bucs, and we do the whole narrative of, are the Chiefs in trouble? Nobody remembers this but me. They start the next year 3-4, including a 27-3 loss to Ryan Tannehill, and the Chiefs are dead, and they end up in overtime of the AFC Championship game, but they lose it. and they trade Tyreek Hill, and the narrative is, okay, now we're going to see, what Patrick Mahomes is really made of. He has the year that I said where he wins league MVP, they win the Super Bowl, and everyone says, all right, we're done doubting Patrick Mahomes this year for real. But then the next year, they lose the opener to Detroit. They have all the drops. They have to go on the road in the playoffs. And people going into that postseason are like, you know what? The Cleveland Browns with that defense might be scarier than the Chiefs. The Miami Dolphins might be able to go into Arrowhead and win. They've never won a road playoff game. And then he beats Lamar, he beats Josh, he beats the Niners, and everyone swears, all right, this time for real, we're serious, we're done. And then last year, they have the best record in football every single day of the season, and the narrative is, yeah, but they don't make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, and this is the Bills' year. And then once again, they play the AFC Championship game. He outplays Josh. He beats Josh. Josh has the ball in his hands with a chance to go win the game, get 17 yards, and everyone swears, we're done doubting him. He's proven it, and that lasted 3 games of football. And now we're back here. It's just... I expect it. Honestly, the gist of this is I'm disappointed in you, Dan.
Yeah, but it's not the same offense, and I'm disappointed in you too, because you did your quarterback tiers on your podcast yesterday, and what you haven't admitted to everybody, you finally admitted it once on your podcast yesterday, you had Mahomes after Lamar Jackson on your quarterback tiers. Even Patrick Mahomes' most fervent, biased supporter downgraded Patrick Mahomes. You put Lamar ahead of him. Don't tell me you didn't. Did you or did you? Yes or no?
No.
Yes or no?
On my podcast, no, I did not. On my highly rated, very successful television show, yes, I did. And that's where we do not our quarterback tiers, but Mahomes Mountain trademark. Here is the thing. I have to be fair. I have to be honest. And I also, and what I took issue with was you calling me biased. I'm not biased on anything. I'm a truth teller. And I'll take the slings and arrows for it. What is also true is, as I mentioned here at the beginning of our interview, what is today? It's Patrick Mahomes' 30th birthday. What do you get the man who has everything? My answer was motivation. And I decided what better present to give Patrick than when they play the Giants this week, and then who comes to town 10 days from now? Oh, is that Lamar Jackson? Is that the guy that all of a sudden I'm looking up at on Mahomes Mountain? Is that potentially, possibly, the thing the Chiefs need to snap out of their funk? Maybe. Also, Lamar's been great. And nobody's ever doubted that Lamar is an all-time great regular season quarterback. Nobody's ever doubted that, and he's earned it.
That's a great gift.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Greater truth teller, Nick Wright or Pablo Torre? Because
sweet Christ.
Do you put motivation in a box and wrap it? Like, how do you present someone motivation?
Why does your hair look like Razor Ramon's?
Oh, thanks. Hi, Mike. I missed you, buddy.
Present day Razor Ramon.
Yeah, I mean, is that C. Nash or Hall? I don't remember. I apologize. Did he pass?
He did pass away.
He's dead.
All right, that's why Billy did that.
Legend.
Billy's mean.
I am going for that look, by the way. The jewelry, the hair,
it's
all
a
of
good
it.
look.
He needs a toothpick.
Can I? Yeah, for sure. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, Dan, or Mike, by the way, Team Baker, let's go, buddy.
Oh,
He's
boy.
streaking towards the 1 seed as predicted by me, the Super Bowl as predicted by me, and maybe an MVP.
He was the best third down quarterback last year, not Patrick. He was the best third down quarterback. Tampa was.
Nick Wright is always right about quarterbacks. He's always maintained his support for Baker Mayfield, and he does deserve to be in the MVP conversation. Continue. Nick, can you believe that Dan, as Patrick Mahomes of all people, be the quarterback that's looking for the 4-yard drag route, as if he's not the guy that is always going to be looking for the deep shot.
He's not looking for it. He's just throwing that one. That's what he's throwing the last 2 years.
I mean, he made it to a Super Bowl taking what the defense gives him.
He's doing what he needs to do. Oh, wow. What a look. I like that.
It's awesome.
If I took my shirt off, it'd probably look the same.
Do it.
That's a good one. I was about to tell you guys something.
Pablo.
No, it definitely was not about Pablo.
Motivation boxes.
The only thing I'm going to say, I don't want to do the Pablo thing. It's just, him tweeting to Mark Cuban, oh, you have time to tweet but not have time to come on my podcast. That is fruit of the same poisonous tree as to why I'm banned from his podcast. Pablo's doing great work here. but Pablo somehow got in his head that everyone has some type of odd obligation to his podcast. Like, Mark Cuban, you want to opine on this and you won't do it on my podcast where I make money, where my main source, like, how dare you? Like, it's just, a meaner person would call it entitlement. I wouldn't do that. It's just odd to me. Like, I would never, imagine if I texted you, Dan, after hearing your Chiefs nonsense yesterday, and I was like, how dare you talk about that not with me, not on my platform where I can monetize it. So that part to me is interesting, but he's doing a good job.